You know how Candace is always getting into everybody's stuff, whether it's the Macrons, as if the whole world cares what Brigitte Macron is, or carrying on about this Charlie Kirk thing, or whatever she wants to carry on about. But what she never, ever wants to talk, she is the biggest hypocrite there is. She knows she is, though, because she knows who she serves. And if you know what I mean, it's because of where does she place her loyalties with? The false Holy Father. That's who she does the bidding for. I said recently that church mocks my God every day. And God is so patient. Unbelievably patient. And I pray he does something about it soon. Because when you call yourself a Christian church, and then every single thing you do is against that very Christian Bible, then you're deliberately mocking him. And I just wonder, like all the priests, and you know what, I would never do anything, so the Catholic Church loves to play victim, but they mock God every day, and then they try to hang it on, well, the early Christian fathers did things like this. No, they didn't. When they say the early Christian fathers, they're talking about the Rome bishops. They're talking about Constantine, the Roman Empire, that never went Christian. He'd only decided this is how we'll keep our power. And what have they done since then? They have mocked the biblical God every single day. They deliberately do it. They know they do it. There's not a mistake here. And then I look at all of the years they've gotten away with it. And I don't know whether it makes me infuriated or it makes me want to cry. See, it's not like the Catholic Church reads the Bible. They're not interested in reading it. If they had read it, if any of those priests had ever read it, then if they really cared about Christ, they would have been leaving that church immediately. Because God says in Levitical law that customs did not permit the public display of severed heads or specific body parts as a form of honoring the dead. Rather, such acts were commonly associated with dishonor, disgrace, and defilement. Displaying heads or body parts publicly was done as a form of humiliation or warning, often by enemies, or as a punitive measure. Saul's sons' bodies were hung on a wall by the Philistines, and David later retrieved and buried them respectfully. God's law requires that bodies and body parts be buried respectfully and not left exposed, because exposure was seen as defiling and a curse. And they make money off of this. They make money off of this. Like these catacombs, and this is the friars. Like you could go and see this. It's not even $12. It's $11.74. And if you're a senior citizen, it's half of that rate. They do everything to mock God. And think about how long they've been around, how patient God is. But then I wonder, is it patient, or is it God? Has God turned his back? Because it could be either one. Because again, what did Jesus say? If this was my kingdom, my people would be standing up for me. And that doesn't mean going to war with them. It doesn't mean doing what because the Protestants and them, they killed each other up. No, but it means you have to stand up and speak up. You show God that you want this to be his kingdom, and that you're willing to stand up for it. Severed heads or body parts being displayed was considered dishonoring and was contrary to the respect commanded by God's laws. Everything they do everything. It's not that they believe something different. I mean, they do, but they know they know they are hell. They know they are the seed of Satan, and there's nothing you can do about it. But what you can do is stand up and call it out. They always play the victim while they every day mock God. I mean, all of it is, it goes against God's law, and their excuse is that the early Christian fathers did it. They're not talking about the apostles. I think people what they did was they took all of the apostles, the people I respect, okay? And they got a hold of their body parts. Also, they wanted to defile they wanted to defile the world. They wanted to curse the world, and instead of anybody standing up and saying anything about it, you have people that go and say they're Christian and they're Catholic, or people like Candace Owens. Like, talk about a walking hypocrisy Candace Owens is. They have John the Baptist's head, as I showed. They have bones of Peter, bones of St. Peter, believed to be the remains of Apostle Peter, housed beneath St. Peter's Basilica. The head of St. Peter and Paul, that's in another location. The finger of St. Thomas. Oh, it's so wicked. They're so wicked. And yet, many people would say, well, God's patient, and he's, and he is. He's definitely patient. But I can't help but wonder, would he like to see maybe people that truly say they follow him or they believe in him? Does maybe he want to see that his people believe this is his kingdom and want it to be his kingdom? And so, he wants to see, are you going to stand up for me? Not go to war with them. Don't even get that idea. That's all been done. That's what they want you to do, so they can play victim. They're the ones that look at what they do. I think God wants to see people speak up, and as Jesus said, if this was my kingdom, my people would be standing up for me. Instead, what do everybody in his kingdom do? They head to the Catholic Church on Sunday. And then, Europe, you wonder why you have a major, clergy child abuse problem. Well, you bring it on yourselves. God does not stand with those. They know it too. But if you're a Christian, you should be standing up and saying something about it. How many hundreds of years have they been around? And they know better, and they do it on purpose. They mock my God every day, and they do it purposely, and they get away with it. So please, if you're truly a Christian, stand up and speak up. Don't go to war with them, but speak up and pray to God and tell him, we stand up for you, God. Some things should not be tolerated.